Welcome. It's March 2nd, 2025, and it's my honor and pleasure to be sitting with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today, Mr.
Very good. I'm very good. Thank you
You're
very
looking
much.
well.
Huh?
You're looking quite well. How are you feeling?
Good.
I heard you had another unexpected visitor.
Yeah, little Amber, yeah.
Wow. A beautiful young girl like that just stops by 4 or 5 days a week. She doesn't live right around the corner. It's a journey for her. It's a journey. But she's got a good heart. She's got great morals. And she appreciates the fabric of a family. So she stops by what normal families are supposed to do. She's a good girl, and she is an avid surfer. She surfs around the world, always on the go. Her passbook is stamped on just about every page, and a surfboard on the right hand and a Bible on the left hand. She spreads the word of Christ everywhere she goes. What a wonderful girl. What kind of conversation did you have with Amber today?
What kind?
What type of conversations did you have with Amber today?
She's concerned about going to Margarita. She's going to go Australia this summer. There up there.
Yeah.
She's going to go up there for
That's a good
surfing.
point.
Yeah.
Amber surfed all around the world, even though Amber lives on the ocean and she'll roll out of bed and she's in the sand. But sometimes the Florida waves just aren't good enough for real surfers. So she just got back from Martinique. She was in Malibu before the fires for 3 months. And Costa Rica, Puerto Rico. She's going to be going because it's summer, like Mr. Jeckovich said, in Australia. It's their summer now, and they have beautiful waves. So we wish Amber a very safe journey and hope she gets back soon. So she'll take that surfboard and travel all around the world with her Bible in her hand. It's wonderful to see how someone is Christocentric and not egocentric. Mr. Jeckovich has got some other relatives, we use that term loosely, other relatives that live right around the corner, and they haven't stopped by and visit for 3 years. Isn't that true?
Oh, we're
They
talking
haven't
about
stopped by and
Clinton.
visited in 3 years.
Clint?
Your other relatives you have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We won't get into that now. This is Sunday, and we don't want to talk in a derogatory manner about anybody. Even some people that are extremely bad people, which we use the term loosely. Some of those relatives will make Jeffrey Dahmer look like Mother Teresa. But let's move on to something brighter and a beautiful day. And are you enjoying all the bikers, Mr. Jekyll?
I haven't seen any. I'm up here.
Okay, well,
There's no bikers up here.
would you go on a sidecar?
No, thanks.
I have a couple guys who'll take you to sidecar.
No, okay. No, thank
You
you.
don't have to sit on the back of the motorcycle. You'll be in a sidecar. Be very
Yeah, no, thank
not
you.
interested. During World War II, Mr. Jeckovich, did you drive a motorcycle?
I drove it one evening, that was all. I had enough.
Oh, all through your adult life, did you have a motorcycle
When I was a kid?
when you're older?
No, never had one.
Did you have a desire to go motorcycle?
No, never.
No, you had no interest in it, yeah. Well, that's interesting. Mr. Jeckovich, how many pages is your book?
849.
Wow. Wow, I think we went through it once already. This is the 475th podcast. And we're starting from the beginning now. I believe we're on page 6 and 7. And it's interesting, more you read the book, the more different things you pick up. As you know, we get many texts and phone calls daily on how much is the book and where can I buy it?
You can't buy it.
It's not for sale. This is just a roadmap for young people that Mr. Jeckovich laid out to make their lives a little bit easier. To share what it was like living in 1925 when gasoline was 7 cents a gallon. You could fill up your monster car for $1.50. Houses, beautiful houses with a little bit of land, were $2,000, and nice cars, brand new, are $500. And it was a great fabric of family then. I think we're losing a lot of that. I think we're losing a lot of the fabric of family. For example, let's just use a small example when Mr. Jeckovich had his self-serve laundromats. That was many years ago as you had laundromats, but did you ever have any problems with the people in your laundromat?
No, they're different culture, different culture. I never do it today.
Describe what type of people were in your laundromats.
They were poorer class, but they were condescending for people. They understood people, and they
They
looked for it.
respected your goods.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Now let's fast forward 80 years. Would you open a laundromat?
No, never.
If you did, how do you think most people would treat your
They
equipment?
tore it apart.
Tear it apart.
They wouldn't use it. They tear it apart.
Tear it apart. Like we recently read in the New York Post that 46 or 47 beautiful self-serve laundromats in New York City, similar to the ones Mr. Jeckovich had, were completely destroyed by groups of illegal aliens. And the problem was this: they destroyed all the machines, they destroyed the inside of the business, they broke down the heaters, the washers, dryers, sinks. As a result of that egregious behavior, the mom and pop owners of those 46 or 47 laundromats do not have enough money to rebuild.
No, they couldn't.
So
Yeah,
that's what we're into now, right?
yeah.
So you were in it at the right time.
Yeah.
You were in it at the right time. That is wonderful. How times have changed. And they also say, a family that prays together stays together. A family that prays together stays together. Let me give you a small example. When Mr. Jeckovich proposed to Delphine Stulak, he proposed to her in the Lackawanna Basilica Roman Catholic. He asked her for her hand in marriage, and she accepted. And then from there they walked to the front altar. They knelt and said a prayer about having a long and happy marriage. Was that prayer answered?
Yeah, we were married 69 years until she
There it
passed
is.
away.
69 years. Now you see today, 90,000 divorces in Florida last year alone. 90,000 divorces. Yeah, men, be careful. Ladies, be careful. Because there's a lot of undesirables, and many people are just desperate because they're lonely, and they get into a really bad relationship quickly. Don't do it. What are your advice to people that are thinking about getting married today?
Think about it twice. Think about who you marry.
Yeah, maybe today 3 times. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, we know on our side that we had a couple doozies. A couple doozies got into this family. What a mistake. These doozies are, they're sociopaths with no empathy. They're the type of people, if you're on life support, they would unplug it just to charge your cell phone while telling the rest of the world, say for example on Facebook, what wonderful people they are, what wonderful daughters they are. It's such a lie. And they lie so much they actually believe they're good people, right?
Right.
They lie so much they believe they're good people.
Yeah.
They're not family people. No. Well, anyways, Mr. Jeckovich was in Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. Yes, today's a gift. Boys and girls, it's a short dance around the sun. It gets over quickly. Mr. Jeckovich just said last week, you blinked your eye when you're 20 and now you're 100.
Yeah.
Right? Mr. Jeckovich was born in 1925. This year, 2025, Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on the door of 100. It's knocking. He's knocking on the door of 100. He's almost there. So I'll read a few pages of your book, but we still have a lot of questions to get to if you feel up to it.
Go ahead, yeah.
But I'll need your dog tag number.
42965.
Okay. This dog tag number opens up the laptop, which I could read a few pages as a book. And we're on chapter 1. We're starting all over again. We're picking up a lot of new things. And let's start with chapter 1, and it's titled, A Home is No Home. A Home is No Home. Okay. We occupied the upper floor in the late summer of 1938. My parents had purchased a house on a modest down payment and 20-year mortgage from Mr. Belden.
Yeah.
Mortgage broker.
Yeah.
Who made that monthly payment every month?
I did.
Okay. You went to Mr. Belden's house?
Yeah, he signed a card, yeah.
And you paid him in cash?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Did your family or any of those families was having a check? Did you have a checking accounts back then? I don't think so.
No, they didn't have checks back, they used the money, yeah.
It was just money. That's probably the way it should be. But an interesting fact to you young people listening, checks are quite common today, but back when Mr. Jeckovich was a boy, most of the checks people didn't have, 99%. They just paid everything in cash, and there was certainly no such thing as a credit card or a debit card. So now as you push forward into the 40s or 50s, checks start becoming somewhat popular. Only about 30% of the population in the 40s and 50s had checks. But the reason why I'm saying this is for this side note. When the father, that's the only one that wrote the check in the 40s and 50s, when a father wrote a check, it was a big event. The family members would gather around the table and watch the father write the check.
Yeah.
It was a big event, not like today. It was a big event. So that's how things have changed really drastically. So now Mr. Jeckovich is moving into the nicest place that they ever occupied at 3063 Orleans Avenue, which Mr. Jeckovich would stay all the way through his childhood to his retirement age. The people living, it was a duplex by the way, the people living downstairs at the time of purchase were sloppy and poor housekeepers.
Yeah, they're Scotsmen, yeah.
Yeah. One of the first signed to task was to clean out the basement of a large pile of ashes from the coal-burning furnace. Yeah. I remember taking 30 to 35 bushels of ashes from the cellar and depositing them in the alley behind the house. This was a comparatively easy chore since the alley was full of holes and needed filling. The downstairs tenants did not stay long. So let me understand this. At this time, the alley is just dirt.
It was all dirt, yeah.
And then you filled in the dirt holes.
Yeah. Our street wasn't paved either.
The street, that's a good point. Orleans Avenue was not paved. What year, approximately what year, do you think the streets and the alleys were starting to be paved?
I would say when I got into high school.
So about 40s or 50s?
Yeah.
Okay.
16 minutes.
Okay, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Very interesting. So you just fill up those holes?
Huh?
You would just fill up those holes?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, here's an interesting point. This is interesting. Surrounding the house were large empty fields with only 6 or 7 houses on the entire street. Wow. There were no sidewalks and the street was unpaved. Listen to this. During the first winter, a V-plow pulled by horses would come down the path in front of the house and clear snow.
Yeah.
Do you remember those horses?
Yeah.
Holy cow. And didn't the horses deliver your milk and your bread?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
They were poor horses.
No TV or phone then either, folks. Oh, wow. Preparing for the first winter was a learning experience. As we were heating with coal furnace and a good supply of seasoned wood that had to be available all winter. This was piled up along the west wall of the cellar and reached to the ceiling, extending most of the length of the wall. A coal bin had to be fabricated to hold at least 10 tons of pea coal.
Yeah.
How the hell do you deliver 10 tons of pea coal?
Well, open the window and they shoot it in.
Well, like a big chute.
Well, he backed his truck up. He opened the window and set his chute up on his fender or something, and he put it into the window.
It had to be so arranged that the coal was accessible from a slot in the bottom of the bin and still contain the coal in the bin. Throughout the preparations for the winter months, I do not recall either one of my brothers participating in this great extent, which was usually the case. I was told what needed to be done. I was left to my own resourcefulness. These were some of the few times my father communicated directly to me. It was usually in the matter of do this or do that. Period.
Yeah.
I was 13 years old, and my brother was 15, and my younger brother was 11, and that was our first winter on Orleans Avenue. Wow, that's exciting. Wow. I enjoyed ice skating on the creek near the house. What was that creek called?
Jeckovich.
I enjoyed ice skating on the creek near our house and on the vacant fields surrounding lots. The first real hard freeze were to open up the fire hydrants. That's something. What tools did you use to open up the fire hydrants?
What tool? Big pipe wrench.
Wow. Did your father have those tools?
He had some tools, yeah.
Was open up the fire hydrant and flood a good part of it. Steve and I said some of the neighborhood kids would play hockey all winter. We also played at night as there was a street light in the vicinity. Oh yeah, a street light, that's amazing.
Yeah. They had street lights out, yeah.
After playing for several hours in sub-zero weather, we looked forward to coming home in a warm, cozy atmosphere produced by the coal-fired furnace.
12 minutes.
After changing our wet snow-covered clothes in the basement, we would watch the red-hot coals burning in the firebox of the furnace, and occasionally open the fire door and throw in a wooden stick in the fire and watch it burn. These were the few times Steve and I would do anything together.
Well, I had a poker. I put that poker in the fire. I got it red hot, and I put my initials on top of the transom over the furnace. It's still there, probably still there. If they didn't take that furnace out.
Yeah, 85 years later, your initials are still there. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, the bakery several blocks away was always a source of constant anticipation and joy. We would almost smell the baked goods all the way to our house. It usually my chore to go to the bakery at 5 a.m. for French jelly donuts. And what do you call those jelly donuts?
Punchkis.
And you got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to buy
Yeah,
holy shit.
punchkis, yeah.
Holy shit.
I ate one before I got home.
Did they give you the baker's dozen?
13, yeah.
Where was that bakery located?
On Niagara Street and 3rd.
And what finally happened there?
Remember they had that kid working there. They were making this parts of the doors and that. He got his hand in there and took his hand right off.
So the bakery closed?
And they closed the bakery right up.
An interesting fact, that location turned into a nightclub.
Yeah.
It was called the Bakery Lounge.
All the Canadians come in, yeah.
Yeah, the Canadians
Saturday,
come
Sunday.
in, the American side stay open much later.
Yeah.
Interesting fact, to this very date, that Bakery Lounge is still open.
Yeah.
So that's like 40 or 50 years the bar's been going.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. As weather began to improve and became warmer, there were many tasks to complete in our surroundings. My father, an experienced mason, made sidewalks with the first priority in the front and side of your house. So your father made all those sidewalks?
Yeah.
Those sidewalks are still there today?
Oh, yeah, they put forms up and everything, yeah.
I'll be damned. They're still there today?
I guess, yeah. I think I went by there with a crack in it.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned. I helped him on all these projects. My brothers did not participate in any of these work details. Strangely enough, my parents did not object, nor did they afford any reason why my brothers should help out. While working with my father, there was no personal relationship, or for the matter, no small talk as such. He would tell me what he wanted done, and I would go and do it. And that was that.
Yeah, but he gambled with that old Polak guy across the alley all the time. My father would, yeah.
Yeah.
He spent hours talking to that
What
guy.
did they talk about?
I don't know, just regular stuff, constant back and forth.
Wow. When did that guy across the street speak English?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you said an old Polak guy, so. When we would finish for the day, and when my older brother would come around, my father would converse with him in a personal way. He would ask about his schoolwork or inform my brother how he is progressing on the cement job. He would never mention that I was helping him, or question why my brother was not helping him. Steve never felt guilty about not helping or even talked to me about it. My younger brother, Lookie, was also excluded from the chores with no excuses given. Wow. It was at this time, early spring or summer, I began aware of the situation in the family group. As the squabbles became more frequent and intense, I realized that I was in the middle of it all. I would come to the defense of my mother when my father became abusive, and especially when he was physically abusive. My brothers did not come to the aid of my mother as I did, but they took a passive role in their sides. My older brother would just ignore it most of the time and walk away or go out to see his friends.
Troop 22, Boy Scouts.
What's that?
Troop 22, Boy Scouts, full of forest rattles. Yeah.
Yeah. Boy Scouts. The times my younger brother was home, he would say something sarcastic and walk out of the house. My sister, which was her name was Sally, would just sob most of the time and stay and watch what was going on. The arguments were nothing serious in nature. My father did not drink, gamble, or carouse about. There was mostly small, trivial, inconsequential, turning a page, subjects subjects that were of no great importance. There were times when I thought I was at fault since I was present at most of them. I do not think I instigated them. When I was told to do something, I did it without making a fuss or thinking I was be slighted or picked upon. Even though my brothers did not have the workload I had, I never complained to my parents, and I always thought it was the way it was.
Well, my father thought I was more handy than my two brothers.
Okay, so he thought you're more competent, so
Yeah.
he wanted to get the job done, so he contacted you. Okay, now, how many minutes we got there? We got a lot of text messages. You feel like answering?
Okay, go ahead.
6 minutes.
If you don't feel like answering some, don't, because they're from people all around the world, and sometimes it might be important to them, but not to you.
What do you got that book for?
No, we typed it in here. This is a logbook. Logbook typed in. Mr. Jeckovich, you had a lot of girlfriends during World War II. How many times have you been engaged?
Never.
How many times have you become close to being engaged?
Never.
Okay. When did you decide to marry?
Oh, when I went with Delphine, probably 8 months.
Describe your Describe your marriage proposal to Delphine Stulak.
We got engaged, but we knew we were going to get married. So we went to the Basilica, and sat down, and I asked her if she wanted to get married. She said, yeah, we'll get married. And we went down to the altar, had the prayers and that.
And then on the altar, you prayed at the Basilica in Lackawanna, New York, for a long and happy marriage, and it worked out great because it gave you 69 years.
Yeah.
Mr. Jeckovich, as a young couple considering marriage, what qualities should they look for in a mate?
Be sure you know who she is or he is.
Oh, okay. What was your wedding day like?
Well, in February.
What was it like? What kind of people showed up, etc.?
It was a small wedding. We had a big wedding cake, and we did it in our kitchen.
Mr. Jeckovich, we heard your book for the last year and a half, but out of your book of the 849 pages, what is the fondest memory of your family? The fondest memory of your family?
That they all loved together and stayed together.
Okay. That's beautiful.
I could depend on both of them.
Yeah. Mr. Jeckovich, what is your favorite memory of your parents?
My parents?
Yeah.
They were a truly lovely person. They were sincere. My father never drank, never went out with the boys, never got drunk.
Man, right? He was a hard-working man. He had 3 jobs. He had 3 jobs, right?
Yeah.
He was always working. Mr. Jeckovich, were you in the Boy Scouts?
No, my brother was the Troop 22 Forest Rebels
And where'd that meet at?
on 27th Street.
Mr. Jeckovich, what tips would you give a young person today that's looking for a job?
Looking for a job?
Yeah.
Well, make sure you're qualified. That's the big thing they want. They want merit. They want merit right now. They're looking for qualified people.
Qualified people?
They don't want you to start out and they don't train you. And then when you get trained, you'll move.
Okay. Mr. Jeckovich, describe any time when your prayers were answered.
When my prayers were answered?
Any time in your life where your prayers were answered.
Actually, I never associate my prayers and getting any answer back. I never got it. I never got it back.
Okay, I understand. Well, I understand. Mr. Jeckovich, how do you feel about growing older?
Growing older? Never thought about
it. Like you said, one time you were 20, you blinked, and now you're 100. Holy cow. Holy cow.
You can't stop that.
No?
You can't stop that.
No. You can watch the pages of the...
I'm glad I got the health.
Oh, yeah. Well, you jogged for 80 years. Mr. Jeckovich jogged for 80 years. Never took a prescription or a vitamin in his life. Never smoked or drank. So he beat the system, I would say. Yeah. Mr. Jeckovich, if you could live for another 30 years, what would you do with your life?
Same thing I'm doing now.
Same thing you're doing now. Mr. Jeckovich, how has your life changed since retirement?
Has it changed?
How has it changed since your retirement?
Well, I'm doing more stuff I wanted to do. I did more woodworking. I did more reading. I did more furnishing around the house than that before I did
Yeah, that's a good point. 1 minute. Mr. Jeckovich, by the way, has been retired for 45 years, and he kept himself extremely busy with many
1980 I retired, yeah.
And what?
1980.
Yeah, 45 years. Wow.
I think that's the key, is staying busy.
Yeah, staying busy. Staying busy. Wow.
40 seconds.
So we got another one in the books, but let's just say that you were retired for 45 years, and you were so busy during your retirement, you would never have time to hold a job, because you were always on the go, right?
What do you mean hold a job?
No.
I wasn't when I retired, I wasn't looking for work.
I know that, but I'm just saying you were so busy with your retirement activities, you would never ever have time to work someplace.
Well, I got discussed with Kimberly Clark. I wrapped up my towel and I walked out that day and I never came back.
Never came back.
Never came back.
How good you? Wow.
We'll pick this up tomorrow.
Got another one?